Yo guys, what is going on? My name is Pandrea and welcome back to another video. Today is your lucky day because today we are talking about something that for years everybody has been asking me to teach here on this channel, and that is the second deal. Now I'll be honest, the second deal is a very hard sleight. It's going to take you a while to get it down, but this is why we're here, because we want to learn this sleight correctly in the beginning so that when we practice correctly, and when we perform it correctly. Thank you. So if you're ready, then so am I. Let's learn the second deal. For today's video, I am going to use the new and improved V2 luxury decks. These, if you want to get these bad boys, they will be in the link below. They are going on Kickstarter live October 10th. That is my birthday at 10 a.m. So October 10th at 10 a.m. You'll be able to get not only this ruby version, but we also have sapphire and emerald. Oh, let me show you the box too. Now, with the success of our last Kickstarter project, we've listened to your feedback. You guys wanted more decks in different varieties. So we have 3 new decks coming out. This is the red ruby one, but we also, of course, got the sapphire blue. Woo! And the emerald green. Look at that, baby. This one is probably my favorite one out of all of them, out of all 6. They all have numbered seals, and you can check out all the details on these 3 decks with the link below. Put a reminder right there so you don't miss anything. October 10th at 10 a.m. Now for the second deal. Now there are many different types of second deals that one can learn. The most important thing before jumping into learning the technique of the second deal and which one you want to go for is how you deal naturally, and that's going to be very important, especially if you're using the second deal while in a routine trying to fool somebody with the second deal. Now it's going to be different if you're doing an expose on the second deal, actually exposing the move and showing the people how to do it, not how to do it rather, but how it's done. Then you don't really need to match it to your second deal because you're not trying to fool anybody. But usually, especially for me, I actually use it in routines, so I want to be able to match my deal. So pick up a deck of cards in your hands and just start dealing the cards onto the table, all right? And see how you usually deal the cards, all right? Record yourself because sometimes it's easier to get the point of view from the spectator. And then we're gonna try to match it with the second deal, okay? So let's say we're dealing the cards onto the table and you're like, okay, got it. This is how I naturally deal. We want to use the same movements of the hands, the same fingering position, how we hold the deck, how we take the card and put it on the table. We're going to use that technique to mimic when we are doing the second deal, all right? So that's step number 1. Now, of course, there's the opposite approach, right? Because there's a lot of different types of second deals. There's the strike, there's the push off, there's throwing it out like this. The idea of this would be to learn your second deal first, and then whatever second deal you learn, you match your regular deal with that. If for some reason you are doing a second deal and you're doing a strike second deal that we're going to learn today, and then when you actually deal the cards, you have to like grip it like this and you deal it a different way, then just keep that in mind so that you can take your regular deal, which will be easier to change than having to change your second deal to match your regular deal. So if all that makes sense, then we could actually get into the technique that we want to learn today. Now the technique we're learning today is the strike second deal. So it looks like this. We're taking one card at a time from the top, but in fact we're taking it from the top position. I guess that was self-explanatory by you already knowing you're watching this video, but nonetheless. Now the most important thing for a strike second deal is how you're holding the deck in your hand and the top card movement, okay? So those 2 things put together. The second part of this is how we're taking the card off of the deck is not as important as the first part. So my suggestion is when learning this technique, you want to first learn how to hold the deck and how to move the top card away and back, and that's gonna be the whole crux of this whole technique. All right, so to start, take the deck, place it into your left hand if you're righty, and you're going to hold it in this position. And the most important thing about this sort of dealer's grip, because it's not really a dealer's grip per se, because a dealer's grip, you can hold it and it could be more loose in your hand, right? But the most important thing about this technique is that I am taking the bottom left corner of when I'm looking at the deck, the bottom left corner, and I'm putting it into the thumb crotch over here. So the thumb, sort of like when you palm a coin, if you're familiar with the classic palm with a coin, this edge over here of the thumb, the base of the thumb area here, the skin part of where the palming technique comes in, you're going to use that to, I guess, almost palm the bottom left hand portion of the deck with your hand. All right, so if that makes sense, it should be something like this. Now the idea of this is to get the bottom left hand portion of the deck in your hand, and you're going to help this by squeezing with the 3 middle finger, ring finger, and pinky on the right side, these 3 fingers on the right side, squeezing down into it, and also apply pressure with the first finger on top. All right, now is where the important part comes in, because when we move the card, the top card, to the right and then back, it has to stay in the same position. And that's going to happen by having it pivot on the base of the thumb. This is why we got it into this position, because when we place the thumb just about there, right, about the middle area, you don't want it too far, you don't want it too to the left, about the middle, and kind of put pressure on the left side of the thumb. You don't want to put pressure on the whole thumb, just put pressure on the left side of the thumb, okay, just kind of right there, and that's going to push it, okay. So I guess that would be, I guess this, now that I think about it, it's a little bit more to the left of center, all right, so to the left of center. Now when I move it to the right, to the left, it's going to pivot on here. Now this is what you're going to practice at first, just moving it to the left and to the right first to go off, and then to the left, to the right, 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 here, and do this as many times as you can to get used to it. Now the idea is that you do this and without the other cards getting, see, this is sometimes what'll happen, and you're like, no, I can't. And you'll be left in this position, and then you'll realize what went wrong. Well, the thing that went wrong is that you did not place it firm enough, and maybe your fingers didn't press firm enough when you are pushing it off, and more importantly, when you pull it back, right? Push it off, pull it back. Keep the pressure here, and you'll get this, okay? And now once you learn this, then we can go into the actual second deal part where we were taking the cards off, all right? But learn this first, that is very important. So you're gonna start by pushing off the card to the right. Now, an important thing to keep in mind is you don't wanna push it too far out, and you don't wanna push it too little. You wanna get a sort of happy medium point between too far and too little so you can't grab out the card. And in my opinion, you want to start off like this. Push it off so that the top left corner of the top card is right in the middle of the deck, okay? Right in the middle of the deck. If you were to take this deck and put a line in between right to the middle, that would be the sort of point where this goes off to, all right? You don't want more than that. You don't want less than that. Less than that, it'll be very hard to get that card. And more than that, first of all, it just won't look good. Like, what is this? What are you even doing? And second of all, again, you're going to get stuck with this card with your right hand. So you don't want that as well. All right, so a happy medium would be just about there max. And over time, while you practice, you're going to get that brief. We call it a brief, smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until you're doing it like this. Now, I don't particularly like second deals that have such a small brief that, you know, it's like you're doing it like this and the card is just coming out of this second position and it's almost coming through the first card. I don't think that looks good at all. But again, that's just my opinion. You might be wanting to practice that to show off to your friends, you know, your magician friends at a late night at the convention, and look what I can do. And I try to get a good, decent brief, all right? That's probably how I do it, just about there. All right, now my right hand is coming in, and this is the position of the right hand. My thumb on top, my first finger underneath, and the first finger and the thumb are gonna grab the card like this. My first finger is gonna overextend, so I'm not grabbing with the first finger fingertip, I'm grabbing more with this part over here. All right, so I'm grabbing it from here like that, and I'm putting my first finger, my thumb on top of it. Okay, so that is how I'm gripping the card that is going to come out. So this is if we take out the card away, that's how you're going to kind of come in with the hand. Now, another thing that's going to come into play is the middle finger here, and that's going to act as sort of a grip as well. All right, so the middle finger is going to come here. First finger is overextending here, and the thumb is here. All right, so if we take that away, adding the middle finger, that's sort of the position. Here, here, and then there. All right. So we're putting it together here. The thumb goes on top. I'm sliding this away. The first finger is overextending. My middle finger is there just to add an added grip. And then I'm coming away with it. And then I'm coming down. Now we're actually going to have to put this together in real time. But first, again, practice that first. Second, you're going to practice just pushing it over. Thumb, first finger, extend. Grab the card, pull it out. Middle finger there for support. And then deal it down onto the table. Okay, so that's step number 2, pulling out the card. Here, here, and then back. But now putting it together, we're going to learn how we can actually time this so that we push this, pull this, and then push this back while dealing everything onto the table. And that's what we're going to learn right now. All right, there's 3 things that we have to do now to put it all together and to think about to make this move look good. The first thing is going to be the motion of the hands, okay? How they come together and how they come apart, and the timing of how we push, and then how, everything, how these 2 things come together. The next thing we're gonna have to think about is the up and down. How high do we go with the hands when we go to do the deal? How high? Because some people like to really come really high with it so that they don't flash the card. And some people just keep it like this and then they just flash everything. All right, so we have, again, a happy medium of up and down. And then the third thing is just the timing and the pace of it, I would call it. All right, so those 3 things put together, you're going to start with your hands apart. Now notice how I'm already with the right hand ready to go in this position. My first finger is overextended, my thumb is ready to grip, and my middle finger is there just for support and ready to go, curled in to grab the card. And this is in position ready to go. My thumb is right there ready to push. All right, so now we're going to come together. So I'm going to come together with the hands and I'm going to kind of swing up, almost kind of making a little triangle, I guess we can call it. I'm going to swing up, and as I swing up, the first finger pushes this card out. All right, so swing up, push out. I'm going to grab the card now, and now as I put pressure, you're going to put pressure, start peeling the card down, and as I'm peeling the card down, my first finger of my left hand is going to pull this card, the top card, back. Now it's very important that you pull this card, the top card, back before taking out this card completely. Now why is that important? Because I don't want to be left in this position like this. Because if I pull this card out and I'm dealing it onto the table and this is already pushed, like why? So you really want to come out with this card and this to already be flush with the deck before this clears. All right, very important, and then come down with it. All right, so just start, boom, and then make sure, you see, boom, and then clear it. And then clear it. All right. All right, so this is all just gonna come with practice. You have the whole tools of this whole technique to be able to do this. Now you just gotta do the timing. So come together, push, grab, pull, come apart. Deal, have this squared. Square, come apart. All right, now the up and down motion. This is really gonna be up to you, and I really suggest that you film yourself because you cannot tell just by looking at how you're seeing everything. You cannot tell how high is too high and how your hands should move up and down, okay? Because if I do this, it can be a little awkward, all right? But you might not realize you're doing that. So do yourselves a favor, throw your phone up there, film yourself, and you'll be like, oh my goodness, take it easy, So that's gonna that's gonna be based off of how you feel looks good, how you feel it doesn't look good, and through practice. And you don't want to also tilt this too far, because if you tilt it too far, then you're neck tying this, and I don't think that looks good. And if you do the speed with enough speed, you should be, look, this is even the exposed view, and the exposed view I think looks great, right? And that's only because I've obviously practiced this for many years. But what you don't want to do is to try to overcover. All right, you don't want to try to overcover. Just be natural with it. Come out here, and if we put everything together, it's here, push, here, grab, here, pull, here, square, come down, and then the up and down, and then the pacing. should just be your normal pacing. All right, that's the third and final step to put it all together. The pacing should just be how you are pacing your regular deals. So my suggestion, deal a few, second deal a few, deal a few, second deal a few, deal, second deal, second deal, second deal, second deals. And you get it. You can start the rhythm by matching your regular deal to your second deal, and then everything will kind of come into synchronicity together to have a very nice fooling second deal. So those are the techniques that I can give you about this move. Again, it is about practice. It does look better with cards that maybe are not very, this is definitely not a pitch for these particular cards, because these look great. It's just a simple knock deck back. They look great for it, but also B decks with any decks with no borders. And this looks great too, because this has a nice little shine to it. And if you get that right angle, you shine the light into their eyes, they can't see anything. You could do the worst second deal in the world. And with that being said, guys, if you did like this deck, the link is down below. If you did like this video, then you know what to do. Thank you for watching, and let's go into the outro. Question of the day today is, what is your favorite sleight to practice? Not necessarily to perform, but to just sit alone and practice. Leave your comment down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for hitting that like button. And thank you for checking out the upcoming Kickstarter project, October 10th. Only on Kickstarter, you could get the Luxury Deck V2. Now, if you want to learn some more sleights, click this video here or this video here. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you on the next video. Peace.